you got Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz going at it because
I
your
saw
own
that.
people. It's so much confusion with this inept administration.
You Cubans need to be kissing Black Americans' feet because they're the only one got the power for civil rights to bring everybody up on their
Yeah, I've seen
coattails.
that. So I'm looking at what's going on with Tyler Perry right now, and I'm going, damn, who do we have left?
Look,
Shit, you got me?
look.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Lord.
Was it Tyler or was it Medea? Which one was
Shut up.
All right, Veronica.
Yes.
What is this? Is this the third or the fourth time that we've done this?
Let me see. Hold on. Beige outfit.
She's going by the outfits.
Yeah. I think this is the third.
Okay.
third?
No. This is the fourth because then I had the
Yeah.
gray outfit. So it's the gray
Okay.
dress, the beige dress, and then the leather lip pants I had. And then
Yeah,
that's just the
'cause-
fourth time.
Because we had you a couple times, I
Yeah.
think,
With-
with two people.
Ken, I know
Yeah,
one
yeah.
time.
Yeah,
So-
it was with the young lady.
Yeah.
Ken.
Yeah, that was just, no, I think it was just one time with her.
Yes, one time with her, then you was
Yeah.
by yourself the other three, right?
I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
The other two times I was by myself.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you back, you know?
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Yeah. How
Every
you
time
been?
I've been wonderful. Making it work. About to, looking at some power moves.
Yeah.
Nice.
Aiming high.
So what else you got going on?
Oh,
Tell
are we
us.
recording?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Oh,
are.
look, I thought we was shooting the damn breeze.
We doing that too.
No. So, aiming, because I'm thinking about making a certain move and I got to figure out, I'm just like, all right, Lord, give me clarity for that.
Yeah.
Let's see what's the best decision. So, I have the book launch and it's in pre-order right now and the sales are doing great. So I thank my supporters, my people.
Okay.
And, at my book, Why You Shouldn't Eat from Some White People.
Yeah.
So my political book and, so I've been getting kind of questions about that.
I
Which
definitely want to get into that. We're definitely going to have to talk about that later.
Yeah, they're like, where'd that title come from? So, I've been getting
Yeah.
people hit me up about that and just trying to see, is it what it is?
It's a smart marketing move.
Yeah, and
I'll say that.
when you hear the story behind the title, you understand a little
Okay.
more things that we're involved in now.
Okay.
And then just aiming to be a better light for the community in some kind of way, right now with everything perilous going on. So I got a lot and a little.
That's what's
Right.
up.
Aiming to stay healthy, keeping it together. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's get into the topics for today. We're going to be talking about Trump. We got to talk about this war between Israel and Iran. People have been talking about that. We'll also be talking a little bit about the immigration things that have been going on, all the protests that have happened, No King protest, all that stuff. We'll be getting into that. And then we got to talk about Tyler Perry. He is being sued right now for $260 million for basically SA. And so we'll be getting into that. And then, of course, we might touch on Diddy just a bit, pause. And then we also want to talk about your book to end it. But yeah, let's start with Trump and the war. And can you read that for us, sir?
CBS News. Trump says no decisions yet on U.S. joining Israel's attack on Iran after Iran warns it would risk all-out war. President Trump said Wednesday that he had not yet decided whether the U.S. military would join Israel's ongoing attacks on Iran, and he didn't believe it was too late to reach a deal with the Islamic Republic on its nuclear program. Though he warned it was very late to be talking. So this Trump says, let me do it in Trump's voice. I may do it. I may not do it. Nobody knows what I'm going to do, Mr. Trump told reporters when he was asked about the U.S. taking part in the strike on Iran's nuclear and military facilities.
Yeah.
So that was CBS News latest.
Right. And we've been seeing in the news a lot of Trump supporters are like starting to turn on him because of this war between Iran and Israel and his support of Israel. Specifically, people like Tucker Carlson, which is surprising that he would like turn against him. And we saw Dave Smith came out and had his comments about the whole situation. What are you guys' thoughts on this situation, this war that we're having again, it sounds like, with Trump?
My thing is, I don't take the talking heads that supported him all this time serious. So when they come out like, oh, I'm speaking out against him, or I'm against this, they're full of BS to me. Because they knew who this man was since before 2020, okay, and they knew what was stoking his rise, his nomination, and his confirmation to president. They knew it was all being stoked by bigotry and hate and greed. Let's get that together.
Right.
They knew that he wasn't standing on no platforms. He never gave them one, never gave them a plan, none of that. So none of them coming back to, oh my God, what's going on? From the farmers to Tucker Carlson is crap. So what I think you have a lot of his people turning on him is more so because they're realizing, oh, a lot of my people are in the military and you could put my son, my daughter, my child in harm's way, but they voted for this man. So did some of the military people did. And this is nothing new. Like Trump started this when he pulled us out of the nuke deal. So people forget that in 2018, he pulled us out of the nuclear deal, right? Then remember when the Iranian general got you gotta scratch that out because I know certain things we can't say.
Unalive.
You're unalive. And 2020, remember how that stoked it. And then he started talking all this rhetoric again. So he's always knew what they were doing. And then you got Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz going at it because your own people, it's so much confusion with this inept administration. This is the most DEI. It's showing what, honestly, and people might not like this, it's showing what Black and brown people have been saying for generations, like a lot of unqualified white people have been put in a lot of positions because they were good old boys or who they knew, and we've seen now on a broader scale. Majority of people that Trump has appointed down his press secretary on down who we got as Homeland Security Secretary. These people are unqualified.
Education, all
they're unqualified.
Yeah.
And now you got Ted Cruz saying something that went against what the doggone Secretary of Defense said. And so Tucker Carlson said, but they said this. And he's looking stumped because now you stupid looking. Because your own people are having you confused. So imagine what they're doing to our troops. Imagine the calls that are going down. They're putting us in harm's way for money and destabilization. Let's be real about that. He's trying to break us enough where these greedy oligarchy guys can keep buying the U.S. up. Because people are getting, and I'll say this, white people are getting more aware of what's already been bubbling for decades. Like the majority of the U.S. is owned by foreign entities. Let's understand it. They actually still thought it was them. So he's just showing it from a bigger perspective. It's like, no, we can be bought. We've already sold half of this. And they don't care. They're like, you got billionaires running you right now. J.D. Vance is a straight up puppet, and we already know that. He's sitting there. They were like, okay, we either waiting for something that may be happening to Trump and we can rule through J.D., or when we need him to run, we got him in our pocket. Because remember, old boy who's had a PayPal fail or whatever his name is, he fronted J.D. Vance's from his movie to everything, right? And then he's CEO of Palantir. Palantir has got a $329 million government contract. So you want to know why they're milking? They're milking us. Elon, all of them, government contracts with the money because that's your taxpaying dollars. So all of this distraction, oh, we don't know if we're going to help Israel. You think Israel going to jump into a second war when they already in one without knowing they got backup? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. So miss me with all of, oh my God, the grabbing of the throat by these supporters. I can eat it because we all got to eat it. So I don't want to hear none of that. I was like, you still fighting one other country? Supposedly they were so big and terrible that you had to continually attack them, right? What happened to Palestine attacking? You got time to go attack somebody else, bro?
Right.
Yeah.
If these people are so big and bad, you got time. Okay, yeah, I'm telling you, just a bunch of crap.
So you saying that's like two blatant wars,
right?
Yeah.
This one was so big and so scary. You gotta attack them because Hamas was so fearful.
Right.
But so you got time to start with another one that's bigger than them?
Yeah.
Because them boy ready to jump. Iran like, let's go.
Oh yeah, they're ready.
They're like, ready. And you about to mix us up in something because right now we have no allies. A lot of countries look, and people don't realize when you don't have friends, nobody telling you what's coming. And the only reason they may not tell us is because they're buying us up and they got investments in us now.
Because of Donald Trump?
Because of Donald Trump, because they buying them. And they give them a plan and say, hey, we got this data center we need right here. Think of all the stuff that's gotten sold off this year alone. And then you want to ban everybody from traveling because they don't want your black dollars leaving. It ain't white people they worrying about going nowhere other than Europe or something like that. They worrying about black people exodus and our dollars.
Yeah,
so
because we're the biggest consumers.
Yeah.
So
you don't want us to have our own. See how that works? So we leaving, but not every country you banning is brown.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So Hendrix, what do you think about?
I want to hear your thoughts. Go ahead.
My thoughts?
I want to hear what you say.
All right. Well, here's what I think. I think Trump wanted to change what was happening in foreign policy in America. And the truth of the matter is, I know liberals are going to get mad at me, but Trump is becoming Biden 2.0, and that's the truth. Biden did start some wars. I know a lot of people don't want to say it, but wars did start in the Middle East under his regime. Okay. And so, I mean, one of the funniest things, and if you talk to a lot of Trump supporters, one of the biggest things about Trump is that Trump is very strong on foreign policy. Okay. And they believe that. That's why they voted for him again in this election. That was one of the biggest reasons. But Trump has lost his touch. If you believed that, you have to admit today that Trump has lost his touch. And I think a lot of people like the Dave Smiths and the Tucker Carlsons of the world are now realizing that. And they're going, oh my gosh, like what's going on here? And the truth of the matter is Trump is in bed with Israel. Okay. Again, I'm just for not having war. I don't, wherever side you stand, whether you're for Iran or Hamas or Israel, I'm just for no war. That's all I care about. Not having these wars going on. And that was one of his campaign promises. And it seems like he's just going through and starting this stuff up. And really what's happening, and people like Candace Owens and some of these other people saw it before it happened, is Trump is kind of enriching himself right now. I mean, they've gotten billions of dollars, since January 21st, right? Since he was sworn in. And it just seems like he's worried about all the things that don't really matter, just picking random fights with people, doing random things that don't really help the American people. And I don't subscribe to what Dave Smith was saying. He was saying that Trump needs to be impeached and all this other stuff. I don't really believe in all that, but you have to admit that Trump isn't who people thought he was. And so, yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
You don't think he should be impeached?
No. I mean, I'm not for impeaching presidents anyways. I mean, I think it makes us look weak whenever we do something like that, That's just me personally. But if he does something, that's impeachable, yeah, impeach him.
Well, I had a question about the people.
Yeah,
you said, okay, because he was strong on foreign policy,
Yeah.
right? So I had someone say that to me. I said, okay, what foreign policy was he strong on in 2020? Because we got messed over because they knew something was coming and they were enriching themselves and kept American people quiet. And that's how we ended up getting economically pretty much devastated because of the pandemic. And so when people say those things, I was like, what foreign policy was he strong on?
Yeah.
He was selling us out then. But people didn't realize it because it got stopped, so to speak, because countries were basically at a standstill because of the pandemic. So what they in turn did was they enriched themselves with the pandemic. Remember, his son-in-laws, all of them got deals off of PPP equipment. They gave all that money from EIDL. They were getting contracts. They were still enriching themselves during the pandemic. It's the people act like Trump had so much time to do so much when literally we got shitted in the first year of his presidency, and all the rest was literally trying to pad what they did. Because remember, NPR came out, all these exposed that they knew months before. Now, mind you, my non-government work entail was reading articles about the scientists that went missing and all the stuff in China doing the Wuhan and all this. I was like, well, what's going on? This was June. And they didn't inform anybody till January. Remember, we was looking at all of this happening, people who just was reading the news or looking at BBC. And then when NPR came out, that literally these guys sat in a room full of all these execs telling them, hey, don't have your people travel to China right now. They knew this and kept it quiet. And so people are like, so you literally let America get away. And all he had to do was stoke America saying they're taking away your rights. I traveled extensively during the pandemic. All those other countries saved themselves because they shut everything down. That wasn't essential. We still had Chick-fil-A open, dude. Because America said, no, you ain't taking away my right. You had people who wrapped duck hunters' masks around their face to go duck hunting, but didn't want to wear a mask. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I said, so he never proved anything. And the only reason he was good on foreign policy, the couple of incidents he had, because he was already selling us out to these dudes. Remember when they unalived the foreign journalist? What did he do? This guy was a U.S. citizen. He did nothing about it. And people was like, wait a minute now, so you okay with us like getting like that? Yeah. And so this thing, so when people say, I said, what did he do? He didn't have time to even prove he could do anything. And they were already, when you look at the records, they were already enriching themselves. And it's because they got at the CDC that we got caught. Like you see, old boy got right now, the whole vaccine committee going. You know what I mean? I said, they took out Obama's playbook. And so when I asked people, I said, to say Obama didn't do anything, he undoing a whole lot of shit. Obama did. Yeah. And so Biden did come us with Israel. Because we already had contracts and deals. That's what I tell every politician down from councilman. Don't tell people per se, this is what I'm going to do. Say, this is what I would like to do. Because you don't know who signed off on what until you get sworn in. And I was at work at NATO, and we hand you that little black thing telling you all that we agreed to. You don't know. Yeah. So we've been in bed. These people fighting for 400 damn years over there. And we've been in bed with this. Since Netanyahu, since old boy with the Nobel Peace Prize, we've been in bed with this. And so it's just the degrees of how much you want to be in bed with. I'm with you. I'm for no war at all.
Yeah, no wars.
Because I've seen friends go to war. Yeah. And that's not, nobody want to do that, especially for stuff that ain't, let's be real, this ain't stuff that y'all, this is stuff you can avoid. This is egos. Yeah. And money. So.
I think, because you need to talk.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I think Trump is kind of erasing everything that Obama did just purely on the antics and the different things that are going on around him. I mean,
he don't like them.
I don't know if people are really going to look back and be like, remembering Obama in 100 years. They're going to remember during this time Trump. And unintentionally, Trump has become the most consequential president probably since, I don't know who. Like, who can you say
other than
has
Nixon
been doing this much?
Nixon with Watergate. No, I'm talking about controversy. I'm talking about controversy.
This surpasses all that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm talking about controversy.
I mean, like, he's becoming like the most consequential president.
And it's sad because he's becoming that.
It is sad
because of destruction.
Because of all of the craziness that surrounds him. And, I mean, when you think about the Russia collusion and all this other stuff and all of the other things that were surrounding him, like, people are going to write more about this, even though I was just watching a Netflix documentary and, it talks about how when they were trying to, it talks about the Iraq war and them finding Osama bin Laden and all that stuff. But it talks about how Obama showed what a president was really supposed to be like, right? And for anybody who wants to really like relive that, and really wants to remember what Obama was, you should watch that documentary on Netflix. It's something about Osama bin Laden. And it talks about how they went in and found him and got him and like the decision making that Obama had to do, in order to make that happen. And, I think a lot of people are going to unfortunately like not remember it as much in this time, because of this next presidency. But
I saw that document. It was in a situation room. I saw that. Yeah. So I asked y'all a question. What do y'all say? Because we was alive the other day and someone brought this up and I heard this before. What do y'all say when people say that war is good for the economy?
It's good for... So the war is good for three major sectors.
Let's call it. It's good for the war hawks.
There you go. It's good for oil industries. It's good for defense contractors. And it's good for people who want to buy up destabilized land or destabilized industries. Yeah. So that's who war is good for. War is good for that industry. Like when you look at the Iraq War, Halliburton made a killing. I can't even say that. Halliburton made a lot of money. And they didn't even finish half of the projects they were supposed to build. And Dick Cheney used to be the CEO. Nobody saw that as a conflict of interest, but nobody was going to say nothing to Dick Cheney because he technically was president. You know what I mean? So you look at the money that these guys are making. You look at Palantir. Palantir is in every single thing we're doing from defense to DMV work, everything that the guy Thale is ahead of.
So real quick, when you said Halliburton You tell me that in Reconstruction?
Yeah, so
Okay,
they got all the construction contracts. The
Yep,
same thing
yep.
that's what's going on now with Palantir. They're getting all the software contracts. All that's 329 million. So guess what? If I get a contract for defense, I gotta have something that you're gonna start for me to utilize and to claim that money legally. You get what I'm saying? So when people say that, and it's asinine to me because the cost of it in lives is not worth the money. You get what I'm saying? And so that's why I think when they have that, oh, it's good. It's never good for you. Because your bottom barrel tail is who kids are going off to fight this and who's getting put. And then when food shortages happen, and we got tariffs going on right now, you got a lot of things that are going to be cut off because of wartime and because of money. They say, oh, we can't feed the homeless because we got money for war, like Tupac said. Oh, we can't do this because we need money for war. Oh, you can't manufacture. They building a whole AI plant right now, and you looking like, but we got no money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We do a $50 million parade, but we don't have no money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have planes that we're selling to other people and only to turn around and screw them over in 10 years and they use them against us. You see what I'm saying? So it's not good for people when it comes to lives. So when people say that, it's the ones who got stock in these companies. I ain't fronting on nobody. I got stock in a lot of defense companies because I know how America with their BS always is.
And the politicians got stocks in them same companies.
And nobody think that's a conflict of interest when they're voting on these things. And so so I don't like when people say that because lives are at stake. It's not money. It's lives. It's never worth
What you think about that?
I was going to say we only have a few more minutes to talk about this, so we need to move on to the immigration part. So 2 minutes. What do you think of what's happening with them trying to deport the people?
Trying to deport the people?
Yeah. Okay. What do you think of what's going on with the Hispanics?
Hispanics, about they getting deported,
and
like a lot of the Cubans.
deportation and stuff like that, and a lot of people talking about the Cubans and all that stuff. So,
I mean, at the end of the day, you voted for it. I saw videos of countless people, like one young lady, she's in Florida, and she was surrounded by a lot of right-wingers, and she totally neglected her own interests. She didn't even bother to teach her own child Spanish because she got them in her head, and she said she totally forgot what her mom and pop struggled to come over here. And granted, it's a sad story, right? And her father's sick, and then they still deported. And she was on live, and they saying, "I'm sorry, we voted against. He will be deported." And then people was in the. She said, "I realize it's my fault, and I followed them, and I did this and that." And then she said she's going to use this turn to educate herself and try to enlighten people. But a lot of them vote, a lot of them vote. Like one person said in the comment, all I hear is I will vote for Donald Trump. That's all you hear. That's so. I mean, it is what it is at this point.
What are your thoughts? 2 minutes.
2 minutes. The thing about it is, I want people to understand, like we are black people, we have this side that if you are breaking the law, we look at it, it's illegal. Hands down, that's all we got. But the fact that they canceled people applications that were in the system, I got a big problem with that because these people were doing what they needed to do. Now you got some of these people hiding in houses like Anne Frank right now because they stuff was doing correctly, in the system correctly, and then this administration canceled it. Now the people who you say they didn't vote against their best interest, they didn't vote against their interest, they voted exactly the way they wanted. Because if this was just happening to Democrats or this was just happening to black people, you would not see a goddamn damn giving. Out there. They wouldn't have been doing all this. They'd be like, oh, well, yeah, because we voted for Donald Trump. They wouldn't have cared if this was just Democrats or if it was black people getting it handed to them. Let's be real about this whole movement thing. And so I see that's what the dichotomy of is. I feel sorry for the people who did it the right way and are getting mishandled this way. And then, but I was like, but a lot of them people who are legal, who had their paper, they voted for this man, not caring about the other people who was documented because they said they believed the lie. We're not going to touch undocumented. This man told you 11 times they used y'all, but they did it. And so if this was just happening to Democrats or this was just happening to black people, would we really be seeing all this forever right now that they marching and doing like this? Would we really be seeing it if we was the only one catching the wreck? I don't think we would.
I think we would. I mean, listen, I feel
the
like
Haitians was getting handled, and them boys was nowhere to be found.
Haitians are different.
No, I'm saying when the legal immigrant, and these people was legally here, and you still had the Hispanic people coming out. They was right there with the white supremacist people on social media.
But it's different. It's different. So
what's different?
Again, I've said this multiple times, but there are. You have to realize Hispanics are. Not a monolith. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And let me tell you something. The Hispanics who are up north in New York are completely different than the ones that are in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that are in Florida are completely different from the ones that are in LA.
Yep.
Okay? Totally different demographic, but they are Hispanics,
Yeah.
right? And so, yes, you might have had a ton of like Hispanics who are more quote unquote legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who are able to vote in Florida who voted for Trump, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that we should not just look at the places that it's really happening for people. It's in these liberal cities, okay, that voted overwhelmingly for Kamala, okay? Blue cities, okay? People who aren't Trump people, and they're getting the worst of it. Okay,
wait a minute
and
now.
we have
Who
we
voted
have
for
the
Kamala?
black people saying that we're not going to go and support the people who actually came out for Black Lives Matter, who actually came out and was right behind us and been out there for us for years. And I'm coming from it from the aspect of I've been in all those different places with the different Hispanics, okay? And I could tell you right now, okay, those Hispanics are with black people, okay? As a person who's from LA, born and
break
raised,
it down. Let's break
these
this.
numbers.
Let's
That's
break this
me.
down by economy. So let's go from macro to micro.
By the way, the
Since
ones
you
in New
brought
York,
up-
let me just say this real quick. The ones in New York are basically black. When you think
So-
about the
so-
Puerto
so-
I
Ricans.
know black. How they
so-
told Garfield, I know
So
black.
since he
Oh, I
brought
know
up
black.
right, but by you saying they say Hispanics is the same way they lump all black people together,
Yeah.
so they're gonna lump all Hispanics together. So let's break this down by microeconomics, right?
Okay.
Florida Cubans by far
Exactly.
voted
Yeah.
for Trump's.
Yes.
Ain't no Cubans coming out supporting no blacks.
Right.
Some no Venezuelans. You are talking about Mexicans.
Yeah.
So say that. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about Mexicans.
But there's
No,
Latinos and other people.
No. I'm not saying majority Cubans, majority Venezuelans. And even in New York, you still had some Dominicans who voted for Trump too, because he did a rally in New York as well.
And they showed up.
Some of them too, right?
Yeah.
Even when the comedian did the joke and shit on Puerto Rico and all kinds of stuff. Some of them was offended and then some of them was not, right? So you were talking about Mexicans, and even though you still had maybe a small percentage of Mexicans who still voted for Donald Trump as well. And some of these Mexican men are business owners, so they thinking with their pocket, right? That's what you're talking about. Now, if they came out, it may have been some Dominicans, it may have been some Mexicans supported for Black Lives. But you really ain't hardly no Cubans or no Venezuelans.
Yeah.
When you talking about Florida, you talking about Cubans. See, I'm a fan of calling it what it is. Let's not sugarcoat shit. Let's say who it is. There's a video of Cuban females saying the only one who's going to help us is the black Americans.
Because
they're the one who more power. And they say, oh, y'all, she's Cuban and she a porn star. And she literally said, you Cubans need to be kissing black Americans' feet because they're the only one got the power for civil rights to bring everybody up on their
Yeah, I've seen that
coattails.
video.
But that's the thing that gets me is like, people got to understand the philosophy behind a lot. When you say like the Venezuelans, the Cubans that come here, people really don't understand. A lot of them ain't even voting because of their pocket. They leave dictatorship countries.
Right.
And that shit is still in their heads. And they literally sit here and they let Republicans gyp them with, oh, God is, it's all godly stuff and godly stuff. And they are indoctrinated
Christian
just like
nationalists.
enslaved people were.
Yeah.
To indoctrinated to that Christianity that's unhealthy and that milking them. And they would say, oh, we're going to vote because he gonna love us and he going to lead us. Looking at him as a savior, he's trying to be. That's why he takes away everything and puts his name on top of it. And they tend to vote in a dictatorship mindset. And then you come here to believe it if I am adjacent or closer to white and white pockets. Think about, we got black men who from the U.S.
That's what I was
do
about
this.
to say.
Do the same
I'm about to
thing.
say.
That do the same
There's some
thing.
black
So are we
think
not
about
going to
the-
show up for
There
black
are some
people?
black people.
Because there was a big population of black men who did not vote.
Hold on, and to answer that,
okay.
and I'm gonna be real right now. And
Let's
black
be
men that
honest.
come in this thing right now, show me since that election You seen black men getting their ass mollywopped by the police. You seen black men stuff. Show me how it's trending now. Because black women like, you got it. Our hands are off.
Well, don't forget that not all black women voted for Kamala, by the way.
And they're the same ones. Oh, hold on.
Are we not going to show up for black women anymore? Are we not going to show up for black men anymore?
I show up, and I said this on the video. I kept receipts. I know people who kept receipts. Them black women who didn't show up, you ain't never getting me to support them. I was like, you would never get me to support them black men, but I know black men who sit here, and I was like, dude, it wasn't, and just like we were having a conversation early. Like, tell me the reason. I'm not trying to convince anybody of who they voting for, whatever. Tell me the reason you're voting, especially as a black person. That means a lot to me because no matter what you think, I've been in rooms with bigoted and racist white people. It's two different people. Everybody ain't racist. Some people is bigoted, and we all got a little bit of that in us. And you talk to them, they don't even like you even more when you kissing their behind, and you know they don't like you. They don't like you more than the black person they don't care for because they like, well, you think you still like you coming to do business with me? No, and I don't care about your type of people, no matter if you claim to be them or not. And so I've asked black men, I said, why'd you vote for them? Because I'm looking at you, your pocket don't align with what they're doing.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? And because they asked me, well, why didn't you? Because your pocket, but that's not everybody. And that's not always the thing is you should be voting according to your money. Your morals got to count for something. Yeah. And so they'll say, well, immigration. Or, can we say abortion? Can we say that word?
Yeah.
Or abortion. And then I've started asking black men, because I think I told him earlier, I asked a black guy who was going kind of back and forth with me about his support of Trump. I said, I've never seen so many black men worry about illegal immigration and abortion until they had to justify supporting Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Never. And I've been in politics since I've been a teenager and couldn't even vote. And I've never seen so many black men, these are legals. Oh, abortion. When I'm like, bro, you got like 3 baby mamas and your ass on the corner selling. Yeah. So it's like, tell me the reason. I respect you more if you say, hey, I don't want a brown woman in that chair. It was misogynistic. Got it. I didn't have a problem voting for the black dude. But you had a straight problem voting for a brown woman. And I don't claim she black or Indian because that's her thing. I'm like, for a brown woman who literally would have not, people like, both sides of the coin. No, one is going to slit your throat. The other one might stab you. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the one that's going to stab me. I got a better chance of surviving.
She had a plan for black men. She had a
whole
plan.
But it didn't matter because that ego, the same thing with Trump, though. That's why I told people I don't dislike Trump because Trump told you exactly who he was.
You got to respect that.
I said, but the same thing. Trump tapped into the base nature, especially in 2020, of what white men were feeling because real talk, white women did this whole pushing of toxic masculinity. And we was like, every man ain't toxic. What are y'all talking about? They was like, no, toxic. So you had men feeling like they were getting ganged up on one. You had history being exposed more to white people during that time a lot more. They was like, well, wait a minute, we didn't invent this. Our ancestors did do that. So they were feeling heaped on as white men. And Trump came right in like a
real quick. I know we got to move
on. Go.
Remember when Trump, he was in office the first time, right? And he's about to get out of office. Remember, he was trying to get the votes to come back, but he lost. And remember all of a sudden the platinum plan?
Right.
He didn't run on none of that this time.
None of that.
He had nothing to say about black.
None of that. But think about the black men who pushed that with him. Because even when he was running last year, like when we talk about the black men we won't support, I knew I'm a fan of a lot of podcasts. So when I'm listening, I listen. So I heard a lot of them teeter-tottering on, both sides of the fence. Like, Trump this or Kamala this. Because those black men were so busy thinking they were white adjacent because they had a little bit of power. And so then now they're like, well, Trump ain't good for the economy. I'm talking financial black guys who was talking, all that smoke they was talking to get people to vote for Trump. Like sleight of hand. And now they're coming back to Biden because I was like, you literally undoing. So just real quick, I want people to understand. When Forbes came out with this, the survey saying by 2053, the black medium household income is going to be at 0. Y'all hear that? 0. Now, this was a couple years ago they came out with this. That's when we still had the springboard of what our ancestors did for us. Now, we don't even have the springboard of that. And they made sure they've done that. So when they taking away these people right for legal citizenship, because the other thing we got taken to play, this is a money grab. I sat in immigration offices and I know how much they getting out of these people's pockets. And I know how they dragging on this process for these people to become legal. So it ain't as easy as people thinking. And these people still paying taxes through a TIN number. Let's get that straight too. I was like, they do this and then they got us infighting and they use the laws that our ancestors set up to literally dismantle them so they can get the people out of here. Because now they tell them we can't even travel to certain things. All that's by the laws that they're dismantling in the disguise of getting rid of legal people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the play I'm watching. So I was like, I'll support. But I was like, we got to have common sense about where we giving the energy and the money and this support too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just coming at it from if if we have another fight, which black people, we always have a fight, we're going to need
Every
all
day.
the allies that we can get.
Look,
I'm
but-
going to tell you right now.
You talking about far as America?
As far as everything. And I feel like we're making enemies of people who have come out and have supported us because we don't frankly, we just don't understand what's going on here. Just because you see somebody Hispanic does not mean that they're a Trump supporter.
No.
And I
Every
think
white person in a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
right. But I mean, but you see what I'm trying to say, though.
But I
And so-
gotta disagree with you with that.
Even though you see the percentage, you cannot look
Yeah.
at that because one, I don't think there's that much participation from Hispanics as much as the population
You mean
here.
voting
I want to, I need to look those numbers up.
They said
'Cause
that
they was like,
Hispanics had
when it
was
comes to
a
the population,
a decent
that's
percentage,
actually here.
and it was
know.
not as high as
It is
black male percentage as they claim it to be that
It
voted
is
for Trump.
it
But
is
there
a
some,
big
but
it is a big percentage.
It is a big percentage.
But there's way more people I feel like that are here
but
Or that couldn't vote legally.
that couldn't vote.
oh yeah.
That didn't vote. All of that.
Reg-
Yeah, a lot of
regardless-
black people didn't
We're
vote.
going off of the people in Florida.
Regardless
That's
of
what they're
who
going
vote
after.
or not, I knew once he hit office, his divisiveness, we wasn't gonna be united. You know, America is the United States, but I know they was gonna be divided on a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know,
And for when you say black people won't have allies, the thing I think a lot of people are seeing that right now, because you have a lot of their own people speaking out, is the thing they didn't want to acknowledge from the jump. Without the sacrifice of black Americans, you wouldn't have the laws that even allowed you to come here. You wouldn't have the HN1s that allowed Elon and none of them to come here if it wasn't for black people's blood, sweat, and tears. Let's get that understanding. And so more of them came over here and said, oh, if we make ourselves adjacent with white people, and they keep just harping on black people, we can come up and they won't bother us. That was the whole thing. So now Trump showed them, oh, I don't care if you think you want us. In 2020, they still put your kids in cages. They still did all the stuff to you. And then it was like, let me show you. So now you got the Asian people telling the Asian people, remember, we the one got rid of affirmative action. Like the Asian people telling Asian people this. Like we did this, what black people set us up for the win. So now my thing is, if you are smart and have not just learned history's in your face. You saying, okay, black people fighting for this. We better jump on board because when shit hit the fan, we already see the other ones ain't coming to save us no more. Because look at it. Why do you think they calling us the task? They ain't calling nobody else to help them. They ain't calling the other ethnicities like they're saying, well, why aren't black creators posted? Why aren't black people talk? Because we have that power. They can't deport us. That's why they're trying to break us financially.
I think they just expect us because we're brothers and sisters. Really, I know people don't want to admit it, but we're in the fight with them. And
Because they're using our laws to get them. They're using the
I
laws
mean,
our ancestors.
I just think
the
this non-support is just a
60s,
trend.
You go back to
It's
the
like,
60s and the 50s,
oh, yeah,
majority from all
go
the way
ahead.
from Detroit to the Watts Ride, a lot of blacks been on their own.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm not
Thank
saying
you.
you didn't have some whites, like you had a
you
Bernie
had
Sanders.
allies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't have some whites, and you didn't have, I don't know, as far
Yeah.
as maybe some Hispanics. And
You had a lot of-
if
you had Hispanics.
you did have some, and then some of them had to fight their own
Yeah.
battles to fight as well too.
Come
But back
on,
then, you had a
guys.
lot of blacks. You know,
There-
felt
No,
they
look,
was
we
on their
had a
own.
lot of
Nothing
allies.
would have ever been done, okay, about what's been has happened to black people since this country started. If we didn't have white allies
Okay,
and other allies from other ethnicities,
All right, so I'll acknowledge
we
the
have
truth.
to be honest
You
about
had-
this
you
No, no,
had
conversation.
white.
I've never not been honest because I'm a
It's
history
like,
person.
You
come on.
had
You
white.
got
on now.
Jim, you got Brown, you got movies out about all these white people. You got the white people that got killed with us in civil rights movement. You got the
Yep.
white people that helped
That's
with
what
the
I'm
underground.
saying.
With the
But
Underground Railroad.
when you look at history, real talk, it was mainly Amish white people. I'm just being real with you because they were more prone to say we're contributing to the Bible, and that doesn't disregard white people. Period.
Yeah.
Because you had white people. What I want black people to understand, and this is the reason we're kind of in this boat as black people as well. When it comes to our colleges and stuff like that, we lost that grassroots support that built our colleges, that got us civil rights. Because we had a handful, and I'm not saying we didn't have allies because that'll be
Yeah.
a lie. It's people
Yeah, we
that
did have
died helping us
allies.
and turned against their family helping us. It's white people. I know I got white homegirls right now that fought harder for black people than their black husbands did. You get what I'm saying? So when I'm like, I want black people to understand the magnitude that we think we were helped by allies wasn't as what we really thought. That's why you can name these people. So I'm not saying they didn't help us.
Yeah.
But what I want Black people to understand is that we were the ones that built our HBCUs, that gave money regularly for schools, that gave money to start Black Wall Street. We gave that. It wasn't corporate money. It wasn't government grants. So when they take it away, now we look at help.
That's the thing. We had allies, but there's times when we didn't. Like she just said, Black Wall Street, Rosewood. We didn't have allies. When you talking about whole town, city, community destroyed.
And a lot of people were scared. White people were scared. Hispanic people were scared.
And I get that.
Though. They were scared.
But then at the same time, the Hispanic, back in them days, the Hispanic population wasn't what it was now.
Yeah.
It was, of course, it was always predominantly white.
Yeah.
So we did have allies on, and like you said, they persecute a lot of white people too for helping Black people.
Yeah, they persecuted Spanish people, and then you had Mexican presidents and leaders that we abolished slavery, so we had the ability to run over there. So we had certain people that were our allies to a big level. But I think when Black people start getting together, it does help every other ethnicity. This is real because that's who we are. We're gonna welcome you to the fold, as long as you mind your business, not bothering us. We're not gonna turn our back. That's why you still see us share stories about Palestine. See us still share stories, like you said. I literally know people who hide their family members.
And I think overall,
you ain't gonna see me rat nobody.
I think overall as a whole, Black people and everybody got a right to feel. I honestly think Black people. I think they felt slighted when they figured, man, we always riding for Hispanic, and like I said, I'm just saying Hispanic. We know some didn't and some did. And Black people, usually when you see them protests, they always going to say Black and brown. They always mention Black and brown, right? I'm not saying brown people don't say brown and Black or what have you. But most of the time, I always see the Black people doing the protests and they always saying Black and brown. And I think Black people just as a whole, they just felt some type of way. We always fall in the gap for y'all, but for you guys to do this, now y'all want us to come and be at y'all aid and help y'all and whatnot. But once again, we're not saying it's not all Hispanics, but as America do, they lump them all together the same way they lump all Black people together.
See, I just think everybody you got Asians getting deported, you got Haitian people getting deported, you got that are legal.
I just
you got all these people
saw something. They didn't deport none of the Russians out in
but
they didn't deport none of them.
Yeah,
for what they are.
You guys do realize that there was tons of people from all over.
There you go.
They are.
I mean, even Dr. Phil came out and said something about 30,000 Asians who came in. Yeah. So
you got Russians, you got Italians.
You got a lot.
Yeah, they just talking about the predominant ethnicity that is here.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get to this Tyler Perry story. I'm gonna play this clip, and then we'll talk about it.
Tyler Perry getting hit with a $260 million lawsuit from a white man for workplace sexual harassment is crazy work. And yes, you heard me correctly. Now, the streets are saying that one of the actors from Tyler Perry's show on BET Plus called The Oval is alleging that Tyler Perry was more than sexually suggestive towards him. The actor is even alleging that one time Tyler Perry grabbed him by the throat and said, "Look how excited you got." If this is true, it's real freaked out. The whole thing is way too freaked out. Now, people have been speculating that Tyler Perry was into men since Tyler Perry came out. And me personally, I don't care who nobody sleeps with when they in the comfort of their home or outside, for real. And the actor is saying that this didn't happen once, this didn't happen twice, but on several occasions. And the actor plays the role of Dale in The Oval, which is a homeless gay white man who is going from place to place and looking for somewhere to stay. And he's alleging that Tyler Perry told him that that's what he was looking for. He wanted someone who could be dependent on him. Now, in the lawsuit, he also released...
So that's a little bit of it. And yeah, I don't even know where to start with this
let
story.
me ask you a question. Was it Tyler or was it Medea? Which one was it?
Shut up. He might have thought differently if it was Medea.
Have y'all watched the show The Oval?
No.
Yeah, I haven't. I've watched it. So I know the guy you're talking about. The guy does play a gay character, and as they said, it was homeless, a gay. He plays gay, and he's homeless. And what dude was saying, Tyler was saying, because that's the type of man he looking for in his life. Yeah. I mean, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
So I don't know what y'all think.
Lord. I read what the guy said happened in the report as far as he was he even fell asleep at his home. And he woke up and he was touching him, different things like that. And the texts, he sent him several texts throughout the time. So he's been on that show for about 4 years.
Okay.
Right. So the guy ain't just popped in the show and popped out. This guy's been on the show for 4 years. So as anybody know, I'm a researcher. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
did they fire him off the rip and he mad about it? So I'm looking at all this because like that person that you played said, I don't care who you sleeping with. Right? It's when it becomes a problem in the workplace that I have an issue with. That's men, that's women. Because a lot of people don't realize, especially in the industry we're in, it's a lot of men that I got SA'd, that got sexually harassed. And they don't come forward. Even in the Me Too movement, barely any men wanted to say anything.
They'd be embarrassed, especially if it's by another man.
Yeah, because they're embarrassed. I said the same thing. You really think Diddy did all that to women only? You see what I'm saying? Those men aren't saying anything because it's a stigma with that. And so for this guy to come out on a show that he's been on for 4 years, I was like, okay, did he get fired abruptly? But none of that's coming out. They're not saying he got fired abruptly. They're not saying none of that. So maybe he got tired of it and he was like, okay, I'm going to say something. So I'm like, if allegations are true, then handle it according to how they need to handle it. I was like, if it's not true, it'll be handled the way it's supposed to be handled. But yeah, I think a lot of men don't come forward, but they need to. So I was like, but we've heard, things like he said about Tyler Perry being gay. But if he is, we don't care. Right. The thing is, don't be on set trying to groom nobody or sexually assault nobody if that's the case, is what I'm saying. Yeah, because I don't care who you are. Everybody get that justice work for me. Everybody.
If he is, my thing is like, if you are, that's your preference, that's your business.
Yeah.
Hey, knock yourself out.
No, you ain't bothering me.
Obviously, this guy he's not gay, right?
Who, the guy?
The guy who
they didn't say the guy is gay in real life.
He just plays.
They didn't say he's not gay in real life.
I guess it's safe to say maybe he is not gay.
Because he even told him he wasn't interested. He said that in some
So it's like if you want to do that, why not just find somebody who is in the guys?
But the thing, even if you find someone into guys,
it still doesn't.
Why harass them?
It don't matter.
No. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Let's say if he was gay, right? Then he probably wouldn't mind his advances.
Yeah, if he was into him.
You don't know that.
If he was
no.
I
know that's true. You don't. If he was into him.
If he was into him.
Right. If he was into him, so it's a 50-50 thing. If you got a guy who likes guys, and if say allegedly Tyler Perry liked guys, because we still don't know, right? And the guy actually liked guys, there's a 50-50 chance that he would be into you. And now, granted, you may really like him, and he may be thinking, "Oh shit, I'm gonna further my career. I like dudes anyway."
Might look at the come up.
Exactly, right? You know, or versus you get a straight dude, then it's gonna go left.
But if it's a power trip and play, it don't matter. So a lot of men who do these type of things, it's more of a power trip. The same way any person who SAs someone
to mess with another man.
Yeah, because think about how many lesbian women, the ones who are studs, try to come at straight women. You know what I'm saying? You've had gay men tell you online like they prefer to come at straight men to try to whatever they have. Right. So it's a power tripping thing more than anything mentally for them.
I don't want that kind of power.
Yeah, because you get knocked out with that type of play.
I don't want that kind of power.
Yeah, but that's the thing I think. And I was like, so we gotta wait till it's play out because we ain't never seen an actor on this level. This ain't no side dude that popped in and popped out. This dude been on your show for 4 years. And then like we already suspect something because I'm not naming no actors because then y'all gonna look up the story and that gonna start a resurgence, which is probably already is. The one of the other big actors that we know who got multiple shows on TV, he write everything like that. Remember when he gave that story a couple years ago, everybody thought it was Tyler. Y'all remember?
Who's the actor? You don't want to call the actor?
I won't call him out because trust somebody gonna put it online. Like remember when old boy said this and we was all thinking it was Tyler because the clues that he gave, black billionaire in the industry was trying to get next to him multiple times, and this guy he's successful. He's in multiple shows. He got multiple shows as a showrunner.
Can you name one of the shows he's in?
Then you gonna know what I'm talking about.
Well, you don't want me to know who you're talking about?
No, I don't, because I don't want to start just the resurgence of people looking for it. But I was like, and I don't want to associate his name because the guy does great work, and I don't even want him tied up into it.
She'll tell us afterwards.
Yeah, I'll tell y'all afterwards. And trust, somebody gonna put it online.
This dude, I'm looking at Baller Alert from the same thing, and this dude got receipts. I look like I see some text.
Yeah, because if you got texts.
He has texts.
Yeah, you got texts.
Why don't you read some of the
No, but this is my thing. Okay, you can have texts. But are they sexual suggestive? And what was your response to them?
They were.
No, they were, but what was his response to them?
Exactly.
That's what the lawyer's going to play out.
That's what they were looking at. They were saying that it sounded like more of a flirtatious, thing that was going on.
But was it a power dynamic where you wanted to keep your job?
It could have been.
Because if this was going on for 5 years or 4 years of this man acting, no, even before that, he said before he even got the show, he tried it on him. And so I'm like, this man is doing the same thing. He like, well, let me keep him happy so I keep a job.
Yeah. I mean, where I sit on this is I'm not going to jump to any conclusions because I'm tired of seeing our black men being taken down. There's been so many. I mean, like
take themselves down.
I mean, we can't. I mean, like R. Kelly a couple of days ago, something happened to him.
Right.
You know, like, and it brought that up again, and it's just like, I mean, we've seen so many fall, and so I'm not going to say anything about like Tyler Perry because he's a successful black billionaire, and I'm going to presume that he is innocent until proven guilty. Yes, we want to acknowledge when people come out with allegations, okay, but listen, I've seen enough. I'm tired of.
I bet if that was Tyler,
all of these,
I bet if that was Tyler coming at Drake, your ass would have said Tyler's guilty.
Right.
He came at Drake. I bet you would have said he was guilty for that.
I'm just tired of us bringing people down, and I'm going to stand behind them. And I want to see some proof.
Yep.
I want to see some receipts. Yep. I want to see it all. Don't come after Tyler Perry until you can show all these things. And if he's gay, he's gay. Who gives a fuck?
Nobody caring about that, but that's the part that's hurtful for us. We tired of them screwing themselves over. Like, I'm not saying that's Tyler's situation.
Oh, my goodness. Tyler Perry, the guy who dresses up as a woman every single movie. Oh, he might be gay.
Oh, you know, everybody eating this up.
Are people really surprised about that? Come on.
But I don't know. We don't care that he's gay. That's never been said. If he is, because we don't know. We've never cared about this man.
But I think there are going to be people who care now because now it's confirmed, right?
Yeah, they're going to be like, oh, it's confirmed.
Allegedly confirmed.
Yeah, it's allegedly confirmed. But that he can still be bi. We don't know. But I'm like, we don't care what he does consensually. I think for us, it's the sexual harassment for the court. We don't
if he even did it,
is what I'm saying. We don't know that. But that's why I'm not lumping him with the other guys who have been proven to done what they've been accused of being, of doing. And that's the thing I think that hurts for us. But every time one of them gets accused, it's the people that we looked up to change the culture or change narratives for black people, so to speak, and then for them to destroy it in such ways, you're like, well, damn, bro, this is embarrassing. And so it's like, even if these allegations prove true, I say, okay, you just like every other boss that got to get caught up in this, and y'all got to handle it. I said, if it's not proven to be true, you got to say, okay, now we got to stand firmly behind him like we did with everybody else. Like, boom, see, this is what it was, because this man has moved the needle for a lot of numbers, and he's moved the needle. But at the same, and I was like, but you look at, he's put his money where his mouth is. And so that's why we like, nah, bro, you better bring all the receipts. That's why I was researching. I was like,
So he could have probably read into it wrong, Maybe he might have.
All I'm doing is I'm looking at what's going on with Tyler Perry right now, and I'm going, damn, who do we have left?
Look, you got me.
Who do we have left when it comes to billionaires? I mean, people allegedly.
We do got some billionaires now.
Robert Smith.
Listen, I mean,
Robert Smith, I
mean,
a few others too.
They're already saying stuff about Jay-Z. They're already saying stuff about all these people. It's just like, who do we have left now?
As long as you in entertainment, they always gonna say something.
As long as we have a few, I'm gonna stand by them until they've been proven to have done something.
This is my message to the few, and regardless if this get to any of the black billionaires ear. Billionaire, I'm not even talking billionaires, millionaires, thousandaires, hundredaires in the black community.
I'm 180.
Yeah, hey, let's be, you like, I got it though. I said in the community, because one of the things, I forgot the woman's name now, and I did a whole paper on her when she was part of SCLC, and she was trying to tell people we can't just have Martin as our leader and our martyr. We have to make sure we empower each individual. She was from South Carolina. To make sure they can keep the fire going for the community, for the culture, for what we have to do. And I think the problem, we sit here because they have the resources. That's what pisses us off. They have the resources to change the narrative at a huge level. I'm talking from building schools to buying tech companies to doing all these things that can put us in these playing fields. And you look up and you around here shitting it away for a goddamn 19-year-old OnlyFans chick for 6-9 figures, or you around here because you wouldn't get therapy, pissing on girls and molesting. You know what I'm saying? I said, and it's sad because we're like, damn, all the resources you had, and you had our backing, or you get like Kanye, where our love wasn't enough. And then you drove yourself crazy trying to get approved by people who was already oppressing you. So when our love isn't enough, you take it outside the community. You don't do what you're supposed to do. And then you're in that every man fight for himself, or you get the ones who don't have nothing on them. And like Monique was saying, oh, they told you don't help me. but they want to help their own homeboy with your own money. You see what I'm saying? So I'm tired of us as the people with the resources not saying I'm standing 10 toes down like we standing for them. They're not standing like that for us. I've been in some of these rooms where these dudes waving like a goddamn piece of paper in the wind. And I'm looking like, bruh. You know, when it's like we have to sit here and say we 10 toes down regardless if I only get this much money. We the culture. We literally are the goddamn culture.
We are.
But you have to realize too that all of these people are under attack. I mean, they've tried stuff with LeBron James.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, they tried something with Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, it does not matter if you're black; they're coming after you. It seems like.
So go hard for your people.
And you wanna look at it, and you have to go, okay, are they the only people in the industry in these industries that are doing this? And it's like, no.
No, we know they're not.
So these other people have some kind of protection.
Your whole president.
And yeah, come on now.
Your whole president.
These people have protection.
You think that?
But not saying that it's right or that
I don't
our
think they got
people,
protection.
if somebody's doing something bad, that they should have protection.
I don't think they got protection.
I just think
because
that
overall we deal with white media.
Who's left?
You dealing with white media. Who runs the media? So it's a bigger scandal when it's a black person.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't about protection. It's the fact that at the end of the day, bar and how you slice it, they are still the majority.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority's been doing this since day one. They're not going to ostracize them. They're going to ostracize you.
Because it's a power
play. That's why they made the farce black on black crime. Like white people don't kill, which is fake.
We all
white
know
people
it,
kill. Yeah, white people kill white people. That's why they make you think, oh, all the blacks are on food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
It's all propaganda. It's all bullshit. We know that stuff ain't true. How the hell all black people on damn food stamps?
We the
white people.
minority.
We a minority, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they claim we don't got nothing. We don't own shit. And we don't got nothing, right?
Yeah.
So they gonna always. It's a bigger scandal and it's a bigger sale for us media click likes when it's one of us that they pointing the finger at.
Mm-hmm.
You got plenty of other like Byron Allen. He's a billionaire who
Mm-hmm.
owns the Weather Channel. Just sued McDonald's and
They did
won.
a settlement.
Yeah, and then got another payday out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's a big time billionaire too. So it's always a bigger thing when it's one of us.
Because it's a power play to continually attack us. Like I said, they can't deport us and get rid of us. So the goal is to always deal with us in a financial blowaway. So if we can get you to turn on each other, if we can get you to just let me feed them a little bit right
That's
here
the
while
problem,
we
too.
run your stuff, while we control. Because think about it, you got so many black millionaires and billionaires, but they still got a whole team of white boys.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They still got a whole team of them people whispering in their ear, don't do nothing for your own and do it for this right here because it's going to make you more money. And they don't realize because we actually control the culture, how things push, the sales and everything. I think a lot of black people don't understand their power that they do have, how they run Wall Street. When you're buying all this hair oil, that hair oil, every single product is traded on Wall Street. When you're buying these jerseys, when you're buying these sneakers, every single product is traded on Wall Street. You're literally running these things, but we don't own them. And that becomes into play because we'll come and we like, well, do you understand if all the black people for real quit the NFL? I'm just saying this.
Yeah.
If all the black males quit the NFL right now and said we're starting our own league and willing to take less money, say $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, right? To say, okay, we're going to do you understand the level of crawling them owners would do to get you back because you bankrupt them completely? But they count on the fact that you are so money hungry, so driven sometimes to be the echelon of this. They play it in that young man's face, Sanders' face. And guess what they knew what black men going to do? Still watch the sport.
Yeah.
Because black women don't really have a foothold in sports. So we can't control our narrative. We pull back our eyes. You see what I'm saying? So you had all them black men still went and watched that sport after you saw how they played with that young man just to prove a point to everybody. And so I'm like, we got to understand that power. Somebody, it can't be about the damn money. We got to stop.
Hey.
We got each other if we know we holding each other down. I'm going to give you that tomato dude if I know your grocery bill short. You see what I'm saying? Because you looking out for us. Think about what we did for Colin Kaepernick, the ones who was riding with him, store road with him, and all that came out that they was playing with that man and had to pay him so the information wouldn't come out of what they were saying.
Yeah.
I said, we ride for each other. We just got to be okay.
So
Not
let
winning
me
like
ask you
that all the
something.
time.
What do y'all think would happen? Because I always wonder this, right? I'm sure, I don't know if you ever heard. I know you done heard it before. Maybe you might have seen it in social media. Remember the white, go back to Africa, go back to Africa. What do you think? How do you think the economy would look in America if all the black people just say, you know what, we out?
Why do you think they stopping? Your president just banned 12 countries about to ban, he said 25 more.
Yeah.
And like as I told you, all of them are brown countries.
Yeah.
Ghana was on that list.
I
So
saw
they
that.
already seen the exodus of black people getting more passports, getting more documentation for countries. They don't want your money leaving here. So now they about to play more games with us. You see what I'm saying? As far as travel, they know what would happen. Now you got, because when I go over there, or I'm dealing with companies, they want us to come over there because we already know the game they playing. So they getting educated off of black Americans about the games that's being played.
You think that the American economy will collapse?
Negro in the damn ground. And then not only that, which is sad to say, you got a lot of white people who are bigoted and racist. They're going to turn on their own white people because they need somebody to hate. And they are going to annihilate the other white people who's still here with them. They need somebody. Think about the Civil War. They was fighting each other.
Probably the poor whites.
They're going to annihilate. They're going to be the poor white people that annihilate the other ones because they're the ones that ain't got nothing.
True,
But
because it's
they
more poor
ain't got
than it's
nobody
wealthy.
else to hate. If you don't have nobody else to hate here, and that's your culture. That's part of your culture. What you going to do? You about to eat each other alive.
What do you think happened to the economy, Mr. Brooks?
Be in the dirt.
Brooks said,
I'm actually trying to look up how much because I think it's in the trillions.
Yeah.
I think I think it might be 2 or 3 trillion a year or something like that.
No, black women
I could be
alone.
wrong.
Black women alone are 2.7 trillion. Just black women. Just black women.
Contributed every year.
And
though.
Every year.
And all that just on hair.
That last statistic came out 2-3 years ago. Black women were 2.6. We were in a meeting. Black women are $2.7 trillion by themselves.
And we still only 14%
right
overall.
So now add black men to that.
We got to stop spending.
Yeah.
You're right.
Why you think Target is in the hole right now? Because black people
preach.
pull back. If you pull back and say you cannot play with me, but you have to be loyal. And I think we're so interwoven into American culture because we got white friends, we got white spouses, we got white relatives, we got white homes. So, but we don't understand. Me wanting to be loyal to this right here, this growth of what we need, doesn't mean I'm disloyal to you, or doesn't mean I don't like you. And they understand that. White people know who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to be loyal to ourselves and say, how can we grow this so we're not in this precarious situation again where they're playing with me and my money again.
They might not respect you, but they will respect your dollars.
Hell yeah.
The most successful boycott was what? The
Montgomery boy.
Alabama
and guess what?
bus
They walked,
boycott.
they bought cars, they support, and they did that for over a year.
That's why I don't care to do marches. I'm like, what a march going to do?
Right.
But hurt my feet.
Right.
Real
Like I said,
quick.
it's pull out Target.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Our purchasing power is 1.3 trillion annually, and by
That's annually.
Yeah, annually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by 2030, it's going to be 1.7 trillion.
What,
So,
do they say what the white? I'm curious. What
Almost 2
What
trillion.
is the white? Did they say what the white population is?
No, I just looked up this one, but yeah, go ahead.
But that's what
No,
I'm
I was
saying. I was like,
curious.
if we get together and say, let's stay loyal to what we have to do. And I know we got a lot of people, because think about when you have people on social media try to start movements, unfortunately, you get a lot of black people who breed distrust.
Yeah.
Because they're, and I'm taking all your contact information and don't find nothing through, like the young girl that did the black, what is it? Not Wall Street thing. She did the black, oh Lord, it was the opposite of the Trump agenda them thing that came out. That's gonna come to me when she did, and so we like Black Project 2025.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, she
okay.
did that and it folded, and I'm looking at it from a professional person. Me, my lawyer, all us was like, this ain't gonna work because what she was doing in the videos, and we had people reaching out to her team, DM and all that, was like, this ain't what you trying to do, because I know for a fact once you make black people distrust you, it's hard to get us back, and we're tired of that. We tired of running to support and then you messing us over. You get what I'm saying?
But we have to see the signs.
We are flipping
And that's
our
what I'm saying.
own.
And I
But
feel like a lot of black people don't see the signs
because
when
a lot
it's
of them
full of.
aren't
I got
professional.
I got so much flack because, listen, I think at the beginning, Black Lives Matter was about
What
a
it was
lot of
about.
great
What it actually
things,
stood
right?
for.
It
Yeah.
was actually real.
Yeah.
But the second that they supported that one guy who killed the cops, and listen, I mean, I know a lot of people feel, separate about that, but there was
the
a
black guy
there was a
and they
black
ended up killing him?
guy.
He was
I think it was
veteran.
I think it was in
a veteran.
Texas.
Oh, the bald head veteran.
The veteran
black
dude.
And they supported him. I mean, I was out after that.
I didn't
No,
know
it
they supported
wasn't
him, but I
him.
know they.
I didn't
They
know they
did.
supported him.
They didn't denounce him.
And then you was done with Black Lives.
When I saw that, I was out, and I couldn't really because to me that just shows like, okay, something's off there, because listen, I think the fight is the fight, right? But I mean, I know a lot of people feel differently.
I gotta agree with the.
But
They didn't
I
denounce
wasn't-
them. You denounce them. When we literally sit here with people right now, these I ain't gonna cuss. These
All right.
MFs
Go ahead, curse.
straight robbing. And that's my thing why I say with the Democrats, where they got to start putting a little more bite in this goddamn bark.
That's what
because
I think too, man.
You're sitting here with people who are telling you, I say, Jesus, no matter what you do, I'm straight God to the core. I was like, it's too many scriptures in the Bible telling you about burning that bitch to the ground for you to sit here and be passive continuously for people that you're supposed to be your brothers and sisters keeper. Where I'm not saying you turn to them. That's not what I'm saying, because the Bible even tell you flee from infidels and everything like that. I'm not saying you turn to them people. What I'm saying is you better stop being so self-righteous to your own detriment. And that's what we're doing. Like when I say, okay, I didn't see that they supported the guy, but like you said, they didn't denounce him. But I'm not getting rid of what the movement stood for. Other things I had issues with the movement. But it wasn't the movement per se. It was how they allowed offices to set up by people who wasn't about the true intent of the movement, and their names were on those doors. You get what I'm saying? That's like
but it was at the head. It was at the head. That wasn't the only thing, by the way.
Yeah, I had a lot more problems with them than that.
When you went onto their website, they literally said, they didn't say anything about black people. They said, our movement is meant to destabilize the, what do you call it? The nuclear family. To me, these are signs, y'all.
I never saw it on their page.
These are signs that that's not a real movement. And like people were just so behind it. And listen, I went out, I protested. I was out there with everybody and stuff like that. Because it was different for me.
The core.
But like I knew that was full of, you know what? Yeah. Okay?
Yeah. No, and I completely agree with you, because like, that's what's turning people against
once you show me a couple of times who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that movement got infiltrated. So I think it got infiltrated.
No, I'm going to tell you.
No, it didn't. Because those are the same people who started it.
Yeah.
No, I know that.
$1 million homes.
I'm talking about when the money came in.
We need to go confiscate
however they got that
homes.
money to come in.
Give it back to the black people.
I'm gonna tell you what one of the problems I find, and this what happened during the 60s and the 70s, and we do not learn from history. And what we're talking about with Brooks right now too, which is right now. We as black people spread ourselves way too damn thin. And what I mean by spreading ourselves thin is not that you can't care about other cultures, because I'll give money here, give money there, go volunteer here, do that, and for multiple things at the same time. What I mean by is when you look at civil rights as a whole, instead of us fighting for the main component that was the problem with civil rights, which was racism, we was like, oh, let's fight for pay equality. Oh, let's fight for gender equality. Oh, let's fight for sexual identity. We was fighting for a bunch of bullshit that literally fed under that one thing. If we'd have stayed focused, but we spread it and we caused dissension and we caused separation. And that's what those women in the Black Lives Matter movement in a way caused, with all of the push about sexual identity and all the stuff. I don't care how you toss this. Black people on average don't give a damn who you sleeping with. Okay? But what we're tired of, I would say, stop putting what we got to do and the sandwich of everything. They already do that with government funds. If you're not familiar with darkmoney.org, go to darkmoney.org. And by law, they're telling you everything. So our money is combined with Jewish people money, LGBTQ money, everything for black people's rights is combined in this one part. Now, here's the kicker. All of them saying people got their own lobbyists outside of that one part that they're giving us money in. We got to stop spreading ourselves so thin and causing separation, because that's what caused the SCLC to fracture. When you allowed them black men to say, oh, come in, white women, we'll fight for...
White women
white women came in there and said, we want you to fight for our right to work. And it caused dissension amongst the groups. And they couldn't watch each other's back. You get what I'm saying? And that's why you had MLK at the end saying, I put my people in a burning house. You didn't watch each other's back because you're so busy trying to be kumbaya damn y'all.
By the way, that stuff is still going on.
Still going on. And so, still.
I mean, when I look at I know.
Oh, I forgot. I'm
going to get in trouble. Yeah, watch that right on. But I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. But I mean, I feel like a lot of our sisters, right, are too caught up in the feminism movement right now. No. And that's really messing.
Women, and let's set the age. Let's set the age.
And so,
let's set the age of this, what he's talking about. Yeah. Because it ain't our ex-tails. I can tell I've jumped on plenty. Millennials and younger. The millennials are getting to understanding now because they're closer to 40. And they're like, well, damn, I was allying with them jokers and they didn't give a damn about us.
Yes.
Yeah, because we was trying to tell you, because we went through the same thing as Generation Xers. Boomers went through the same thing. We try to warn you, but because you figure they listen to your music and they married to your men and you married to their women and all y'all together and you have friends science and you went to college and you liked them. You don't realize you was the one suppressing who you were in them rooms to make them comfortable.
Yeah.
And so, it's the millennials and younger. They all in this, and they got all the pseudo rhetoric words for you up and down the block. And I'm like, okay, you about to get your ass handed to you and come back in 5 years saying the same thing we've been telling you about.
And a lot of these women really believe in it. A lot of the black women really believe in it. I'm like, man, there's nothing you can do for that now.
They like the black man with the red pill. I'm like, that is not your fight, brother.
And
that red pill is not your liberal, your incel fight, brother. Your fight ain't their fight.
And things like that. That's why they still singing "We Shall Overcome" because the house is divided against itself.
Burning.
We don't never come. They already playing tricks.
Yeah.
But then if we don't come together, at least majority of us,
I'm about to say majority because you
and
got
stick
small
to that
pockets
cause,
of us that are coming and growing. But we want majority of us. But look, Jesus had 72, 12, and 3. So so sometimes you got to skim it off the top.
Why did Yahweh left the Hebrew Israelites in the wilderness wandering? Because they could not come together for 40 years.
Look.
It would take them, almost
11 days
to get there.
And
it took them 40 years.
11 days took them 40 years.
You know what they call them? Stiff-necked.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel a lot of the blacks are today. They are still stiff-necked people.
But if you look at the segue to the book, it's a chapter they call Black Men Left Black Men Behind. In my book, Why You Shouldn't Eat From Some White People. That plug for y'all right there.
Yeah.
So it's a chapter because I was like, women shouldn't be educating men. You educate men on how we move and things like that as far as women. But I said men respond more to men. Saying, okay, look, brother. And I'm talking about healthy-minded men educating other men. Saying, okay, I'm here for you. The solidarity is there. I'm loving on you. You know what I'm saying? Brother, look, this is why I found the road that got me here. This type of thing. Because when we say it, it almost either look like mothering or look like nagging. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm like, when you look at what was left, I said, if black men and black women got together on the level we needed to, dude, and it wouldn't be no stopping us. Because I'm like, but the problem is when you're trying to sit there and still divide black men mentally because they fall into this, I got a little bit of money, or I ain't got time to save him because I got me and mine. You see what I'm saying? Black women think about the whole totality, especially for the extras of the whole community. And so when we're thinking about the community, that's why they said the way we vote. I know black men who take care of their home, and that's all they take care of. I know black men who take care of their home, and maybe their second perimeter are relatives, their mom, their dad, their aunt, their uncle, stuff like that. And that's all they take care of. They don't go outside those two loops unless it's a fraternity doing some outreach or if it's a church. You get what I'm saying? Yep. Whereas black women sitting here, okay, hey man, let's go at this organization because they get bread. Okay, let's start this right here. And a lot of black women I know run male-centered organizations for young boys, all the stuff like that. I'm like, we got to get black men to say, but that's not just black men. I'm talking to black men, but men think like that, period, on a singular level. White men do the same thing. I ain't got nothing to do with them. I'm talking about us. I was like, those black men we need to see the strength of. Because you're like, all right, they got us. And I need you 10 toes down. Don't be in here no shit, saying no Amber Rose shit, talking about, oh, you know, is she right? You gonna kick rocks out of my face. You got what I'm saying? Because I'm like, the disloyalty, that's where you see the black women back in the way. We like, you know what? I'm tired of getting foot in my ass, being loyal to you. And you going away voting for somebody who putting foot in your ass. Not mine, yours too. Even if you didn't like what was going on, you didn't care for this woman, who's going to lessen your money or lessen your family dynamics to grow generational wealth or grow psychologically? You get what I'm saying? So I was like, we got to stand 10 toes down with each other.
Yeah,
and
but
that incel discussion.
We also have to get out of the voting thing.
Yeah.
We have to stop looking at voting. Voting, I mean, listen, I still think that we should vote, right? Yeah. Because that's the only way that you can move things. Mm-hmm. But voting should just be like a side dish. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But
like
that's the family unit is the main thing.
Yeah, it ain't the main course.
Because how you move in your house is how you're going to move in a community. Yeah. Even if you ain't voting, what are you doing for your community? My son taught me this when he was 10 years old, my youngest son. I told him I give him money always to the homeless because he always want to give money to the homeless. I said, son, some people on drugs, some people alcohol. And he said, Mom, I understand. He said, but I know the reason. I'm giving them the money. Whatever they do with it, that's on them. But he taught me another way. He said, Mom, could I go get some crackers and some water from the dollar store one day? And I was like, boy, we got crackers and water at the house. I'm not giving you no money. He said, no, Mom, it's not for me. I said, who is it for? He said, so I can give the homeless people. That way they're not getting money, so they'll have food and water in their bag. My son taught me how to take $2. At the time, dollar store was $1 still. Take $2, and that $2 bought like a 6-pack of water and an 8-pack of crackers at the dollar store. He fed 6 to 8 people on $2. Do you get what I'm saying? I said, so we have to look at what are we doing as a unit for the community, and that's your house and that's yourself. And because we're dividing in the house, they got us fighting each other as black women. You got some black women online, pretty as hell, ain't got no man but telling you how to goddamn date. You know what I'm saying? You had a woman online say she would save her child if her or the husband was drowning. I saved my husband first before I saved the child. I was like, bitch, excuse me. I said, you for real? And I was like, do you know that man would hate you for the rest of your life because you let his seed drown while you saved him? I said, that ain't pick me material. But people will sit and be like, yeah, she right. Where? But you got men who are trying to educate other men, but they're not saying a toxic thing you want to hear because you hurt right now. You got women educating other women, but these are women who ain't never healed or never had a quality dude in their life, not even their daddy. So we got to watch who we're listening to. I say, get your prayer up. Start listening to God with clarity. You understand me? And say, how do I be better for the community? I was like, we are not. And that's what I talk about in the book. Like each chapter saying, what do we need to do to move from here? And it's not bashing. That book isn't about bashing white people. That book is holding black people accountable for the role we played in getting got.
Yeah, what do you say to people say, it sounds like a racist book. Should I get it?
I tell you, get it. But the title of the book, Why You Shouldn't Eat from Some White People, the title came from, because we're from the South. As y'all know, I'm from South Carolina. And so my mother grew up, and one of her good friends was a white lady named Sandra. And I'm even named after a white lady that she knew named Veronica. And so Sandra would cook my mom food and come over to my mom's house and eat my mother's cooking. But my mother never ate this lady cooking. And so when the lady leaves, she would scrape it in the trash. And so when I got older, I asked my mom, I said, Mom, why'd you never eat Miss Sandra's food? And she was like, let me tell you, don't you ever eat from white people. She said, either they nasty or they can't cook, right? And so I said, okay, but I had heard that from so many other black people in the South. So my grandmother taught her children that, which was my mom and them, because she was like, back then when she grew up in the 20s and 30s and 40s, you took anything from white people, they could say you steal it, and you looking at getting unalive, you looking at going to jail. And so I talked to black people who were the first to integrate their neighborhoods, and it was like white people would give their kids rancid sandwiches, bad stuff. So they taught them, don't you take anything. You see what I'm saying? And we see in TikTok how some of these white people got their dogs and cats on the thing. So I was like right there. But so when I started thinking about all the laws that would come into play, like from bankruptcy laws, Homestead Acts, redlining, I was like, stockbroking, anything that came into play where black people started learning about and becoming better, they would change them. The governments would always add an addendum to them and say, oh, now you can't do that. Oh, now you got to be $250,000 liquid to be a stockbroker. Oh, you got to do this. They always change laws once we got educated on them. They even changed trade schools. And then we started going to college, and then college became expensive. They started charging. Every time we got hip to something, they changed it. So I added that to think about the same scope of eating from them. It was like, and that's why I say some, because you had some white people that was there trying to help us, trying to better us. You know what I mean? So, but you had some, soon as you get a little more, so they were, we give you the crumb. The crumb was DEI. The crumb was civil rights. When I just asked for equal, I didn't want this. We wasn't asking for now. We just wanted the right to be able to have equal rights because you took our tax money. Yeah. We didn't care about integrating. We didn't want to integrate. That's what people don't get if they don't know history. We never asked for integration. We just wanted equal rights because you were taking our tax money. That's all they were asking for. They gave you that bullshit to shut you up. You see what I'm saying? Oh, we gonna give you, we didn't ask for civil rights. We asked for equal because you was taking our taxes. And then we didn't understand the psychology behind what they've done to us to say, in order to be better, white people got to validate us. Because they didn't see white people black people exodus taking money out their neighborhoods the way they did. So when we integrated, all the schools went away, the doctor's office went away. Remember, we couldn't go to this stuff, so we had our own doctor's office, our own shoemakers, it went away. Because the psychology of, if this white person takes my money, I'm validated. Remember the scene in what was the movie, the show Misha Green wrote on Lovecraft Country? Yeah. Remember the Green Book scene where they went to the restaurant and they realized they had probably unalived the white woman and paint over the burn spots of the restaurant. And he was like, no, our money just as good. They're going to take our money. That was their thought process. You were making these people take your money who didn't even want to deal with you. For validation. So we have to understand what I'm saying. It's like those laws, they play in our face with the crumbs of the DEIs, of the redlining. When all you got to do is stay out my way. That's literally it. Stay out of my way. Give me the same blanket rights. Everybody got the same blanket rights in the country and stay out of my way. But that's not possible when you need somebody to feed off of. And so they got to separate you and your family. They got to argue with you. They got y'all arguing. If they know I post enough black people up here and cause dissension amongst these black people here, it's the house and the field. It's the house in the field. If I get black men, like they did with Willie Lynch and everybody else, to keep hiding behind these black women, because black women got more houses, more money in savings, more corporate jobs, more education. If I get them to sit here and divide each other, not see the value in them women having that, they would be like, okay, a black man say, okay, I know this woman got all this. What can I add to it? Let's go build this. Your ego got to be off the table. Because you talking about this 2 Corinthians type of woman and you don't want to understand this is who she is. She's going to label, she's doubling that bread. So she still needs you to be there to guide me. Guide me, King. Do whatever. But no, they're going to cause your ego to play us. Because you the man. White women have always been taken care of in this world. So our fight ain't the same as theirs. Neither is your fight the same as no white man. So when I tell you this incel stuff that we're talking about, or the red pill community, black men shouldn't even be subscribing to that. Like we was talking about the feminists with the young black women. You can't subscribe to something that does not pertain to you. Because our fight ain't the same. We've always had black men back. Who was getting that ass whooping with you? You see what I'm saying? Who was fighting civil rights with you? Who was giving you the money like them women was giving Jesus on the goddamn pilgrimage? We were. Who you think would take a bullet for your sons? We in them streets. That's why we care for kids that ain't even ours. And so when we sit there and say, look, let's stop all the infighting. Because a lot of us need therapy. Real talk, bro. A lot of us need therapy because we got our parents who didn't know on us. We got all of this stuff with society, especially black men. This is Black Men's Mental Health Month. And I want us to understand, like I want a lot of black men, because I talked to a lot through the years, to release a lot of stuff. It's okay to walk away from bad relationships, because I know a lot of black men are in bad relationships. And it's sad because a lot of y'all probably know them too. And they sitting there, I don't want to lose half. Nigga, get rid of that money. Excuse me, I just said that word. Let that money burn, nigga, because she on 100% of your mental right now. You see what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of toxic women out here too, like you got toxic men. It's okay to be a black man and call your friend and say, bruh, I'm tired. It's okay to be a black man and say, damn, I thought I'd be different at 50. Or I thought I'd be different at 40. Or I thought I'd be different at 30. It's okay to call each other and say these things. And I think our black men aren't given so much the space, because they're given space, but they don't believe it exists. Because they not had toxic people in their life who played them. You know what I mean? And you're listening to these warped sense of, why you think your daughter's rapping now that they the boss bitch? Because they like, okay, if you going to play in my face with my feelings, I might as well get my money. And why you think your son sitting there got all their strength and their penis and their wallet? Because they tell them that's their value. So I want black men to get that space of, dude, you got to correct each other and know it's out of love and not out of ego. And you got to give each other that space. Black men ain't giving each other that space. We giving you the space and you don't trust it. Like, no, she's going to use that against me. Why, bro? But I want that for men's mental health. Like, walk away from these unhealthy relationships. And it don't matter what financially you lose. You gain a whole lot more than you think. Because a lot of y'all men are in bad situations, dude. I'm telling you what I'm seeing. And they're sitting there looking old and tired. Some of them are mentally abused relationships. Can't even look at another one walking down the street because a woman playing in their head. I'm telling you what I'm seeing with dudes that I know. And I'm talking educated, some 6-figure dudes. Because they're not given permission to walk away or try to fix their daddy and their mama. I got dudes trying to fix their parents through staying in bad relationships. And so I want that for black men, to free your whole damn self. If you don't want to smile, and I'm looking dead at the camera, one of the reasons I said black men left black men behind, because black men are disloyal to themselves. I know black men who wanted to smile in public just because white people say they look intimidated. And they said, Veronica, well, I want them to think that. I'm talking our generation was doing this. And I said, that's their problem. You shouldn't have to smile in public to make anybody comfortable because you look like the threatened black man, especially if you darker, you know. But I had dudes do that, who's 6 feet or who, you know, they got to play that cozy black, like off Green Mile to make them feel bad about themselves. And I was like, but I don't want them to do that. If you don't want to smile, don't smile. If you don't want to make them feel comfortable, why you think all them hardcore right-winging black men who support all that white stuff, you see them always cheesing, right? Because they got to let them know the monkey train. They got to let them know, I ain't scary. See, I'm with you. Think about that. They always cheesing. And so I'm like, but if you are a black man, be loyal to yourself. Don't try to make none of them feel comfortable because they created the problem with you. You didn't create it. So be loyal to yourself. Be loyal to who loyal to you. I don't give a damn. You got to move like them Jewish boys do and marry a Jewish gal. You got to move like them Asians do, marry Asian. You got to move like them whites do, marry who you going to marry. Be loyal to what you got to be loyal to. Damn all that interwoven shit. And I date white men. And I date Asian men. And I date Hispanic. But I'm telling you this. I was like, you got to be loyal. And I'm still loyal to mine 10 toes down. And so that's why I feel. So when you get the book, and y'all can pre-order and get a signed copy because we're starting to tour. It talks about how we can hold each other accountable for what we allowed and knowing the history of it and saying these are the next steps, because I don't like empowerment things. I like strategies. These are the next thing from getting $5 and how to flip that 5 into 100 at least. You know what I mean? Get you a mutual fund, bro. Get something to start off because they playing right now. Get your paperwork in order. Get your LLC so you can offset these taxes they trying to play in your face with now because their whole goal is to break us. But they've never been able to. They've never been able to. We break ourselves. They don't do nothing. We break ourselves. So once we stop doing that, man, I'm telling you, I just feel good about everything. I know the shit hitting the fan, but for us, get them where you fit and we always surviving. We gonna always survive. My 82-year-old told me that. She said, baby, we always surviving. They always coming at us.
So tell them information. How can they get your book for pre-order?
Say the name one more time.
Yeah.
The title of the book is Why You Shouldn't Eat from Some White People. See how sweet I said that? It's called Why You Shouldn't Eat from Some White People. And you can find it on my website for pre-order at www.dammemedia.com. That's DAMMI media.com. And you get a signed copy with pre-sales, and it goes live July 1st in all your bookstores and online. But the pre-sales, you get the signed copy of it from me. So I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope y'all talk about it. I hope you Instagram, even if you don't like it, say what part you don't like, but don't come say I don't like it. You better say why. Give me a reason. And so we can discuss it. And you better, I'm gonna discuss it with you. But I want us to be better because I know our power. I'm a history buff. Study our history. That's how they keep playing us.
Yeah. Who is this book for?
It's for, I'm gonna tell you, it's for everyone that wants to change the trajectory of African Americans.
Okay.
All right. Now, not to say you can't utilize the same information, depending, because I think other ethnicities need to read it because it gives them more of an insight with the colloquialism of what we seen and what we do in Charleston and everything to what's going on in the history stuff. Because some people really just getting history now. Through the internet. And they're like, I didn't know that. Even with the thing that was going on with Israeli and Hamas, you had Jewish people like, I didn't even know we had laws in the U.S. paying for their trips.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they didn't even understand. They didn't even understand how that conflict started. So a lot of times we get in this skim history to make everybody feel better. And I tell black people, you can't get mad at white people who don't know their history because they were taught the same history we were taught. And why somebody going to teach you that they number two?
Right.
So they're taught the same. So it's for anybody who really want to know history about certain things. And it doesn't cover extensive American history. That's for you to keep doing. But it covers each chapter touch base with a personal story of what this history was about. Why this came to be. Why maybe black men were this way. Why, the redlining. Why finances started doing this. Why black people run on color people time. You know what I mean? Because people think that's just something. So these different things, it's like, okay, why the family unit started getting broken in the 70s. You know what I mean? Okay, now how do we do that now? Here's the lie. Black men are good fathers, and they at a higher percent take care of their kids. You got a lot, 16% of black men who are single fathers raising their children. But you don't hear from them as much as you should.
Right.
Because they just doing their job. They tired. They like, nigga, I work. I ain't got time to be online telling people, give me my props. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But we got to tell these stories because these boys got to get off the street. We still losing black men to the street in 2025.
Oh, yeah, I know.
They're the ones they going to try to get to pay cotton and tomatoes. That's why he was talking them black jobs. Because when they're in jail, they farming them out now.
Yeah.
And they're doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
So we got to rescue them.
That's slavery. That's what we go.
And they got to own it. And it starts from a bad parent. If they got a bad mom and bad dad, they going that way. It ain't the prison, the pipeline system. It's your sucky ass parenting. So not being real. People want to say the prison, the pipeline, but a lot of it starts from bad parenting, dude. You got a lot of people who are not good parents out here. They're selfish. They ain't beating and things like that, but they're selfish. They're not good parents because they shouldn't maybe have been a parent. But and they don't ignore. And you got kids repeating multiple grades at the same time, especially young black men. So you got them falling through cracks, and they're decent kids. They just don't know what they don't know, and they don't have no emotional intelligence because the house is broke. You got a lot of women who don't clean their house. Men and women around there dirty, and that's mental stuff. I'm telling you, dude. I don't walk. People's houses dirty. Some of the baddest chicks you see online got the most dirtiest houses, and they man right with them because they've gotten brainwashed to believe it's okay. So it's not a prison pipeline per se that they can control. It starts with us. Who you giving your egg to? Who you giving your sperm to?
So, hey, how long did it take you to complete your book?
I'll be truthful. I started this idea when Obama was running, and God kept telling me not now. Because I had a feeling it would either play into him getting elected. Yeah. Some kept telling me it's going to play into him getting elected. Don't do it. And then when he ran the second time, it was like, don't do it. Yeah. And then when Trump ran, it was a lot going on because the pandemic set a lot of stuff off. And me, I was doing like every business owner trying to make my business survive and not fire people and different things like that. And then when Biden won, it was the same thing. We were just trying to stay afloat. And then like this year hit, literally last year when he got elected, God was like, now. And And so I don't care if it sells 10 copies. I needed to get to who it needs to
I
get to.
honestly thought your book had came out a while ago.
Yeah, because I
remember
released
you-
it and then I pulled it.
Oh.
Because sometimes you got to sit there and say, okay, Lord, what you want me to do now? Because I do what I want to do. And you don't know the reason behind certain things.
Yeah.
And so now I think it's a good time because people have more of an openness to saying, well, what's going on? What does she mean by this? And even down to the album cover, even down to the book cover, I was like, I wanted a dark-skinned man on that cover. So when we had to do that photo shoot, that was not AI. You know what I'm saying? I had to do all the stuff like that. When we did the cover, they originally did it with a light-skinned guy.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, nah, I need him to look black, you know. And it was like, and you know, the white guy was so uncomfortable shooting that because he was just like, oh, because the way they had to angle each other to shoot it, to feed him the spoon.
Yeah.
And so, but it was like, I wanted that semblance. They were so uncomfortable. They were real good sports about it. I wanted angled like that with him almost on his knees. So the light-skinned guy was actually on his knees, and the white guy had to stand up on a ladder to take that book cover. But I wanted a dark-skinned guy because I was like, that's a representation of what I'm talking about as far as black. Then I didn't want him in no collar. I want him in a collar shirt with a tie because we tend to, oh, he got a crew neck on here. He a possible criminal. You know, I wanted to say, no, it's all of us, whether it's the corporate bigotry, whether it's playing in our face and you pulling them by the collar because you giving them a low leash like these guys you handing money to but said, oh, just keep them happy, but you stole black man. When they run, they be like, you know what to say on TV. You know what to say on camera. Same thing with the black women. You know what to say on TV. You know, you got some people come over here and they take advantage of what we built and what we did and they act like they for us. And because they look like us, we follow them, only to realize, oh, you for your own people.
Yeah.
You know, so we got to, so it's for everybody.
And this is a re-release.
Yes, because I pulled it like 2 weeks. I was like, my spirit was like, didn't I tell you don't pull it? So I pulled it before it could sell. Yeah. And so this is me. And I had to update some things because a lot of things happened in the past. Yeah.
So one other quick question. Are you going to have an audible with that?
No.
You should do it in your voice.
So people tell me that.
Yeah.
People tell me that. They was like, you should do audible. I said, y'all going to get all the Geechee Gullah if I do it. Because I refuse to do an AI
real.
one. That's real. I said, I don't want to do AI reading it because I'm tired of, that digitized life. I think, so I was like, if I do it, y'all going to hear that soothing of Oprah's voice.
No, you should do it in your authentic voice.
Yeah, y'all can get the Geechee Gullah.
Get that passion behind it.
Yeah, because I am passionate. I'm passionate, and that's always, I'm a water of seeds, and I want us to be better. I said, I am going to move this needle in my lifetime. I don't want us to say it, be like our ancestors, oh, the children of the future, we can do it for the children. Yeah. We here now. We've said that 50 million times every generation is for, and all we doing, and we keep allowing our children and ourselves to get more distracted and more ignorant of what's going on because now they're using social media to distract us and to have us infighting and to divide us. You got people like, oh, the spiritual planes, we the natural Israelites. What the hell I got to do with me right now? And I know history. You get what I'm saying? I was like, I understand it. But okay, tell me factually what it pertains to right now that I need to know because people are inundated with trying to survive.
Yes.
So I can't think about, Hispanic people getting deported for some black people. I can't think about Netanyahu. I can't think about Hamas. I can't, because I'm paying $20 for oranges.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm having to work 3 jobs, and that's not just black people, that's Hispanic people, that's white people, that's everybody in the U.S. They can't think about the broader spectrum because they're purposely trying to strangle you with distractions.
Yeah, for sure.
But this comedy show.
Now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, you about to stop me, bro? I got to pay property tax. So,
Yeah. Well, Veronica, I feel like we always run out of time.
As
we
usual.
could just go for one of these days. We're gonna do a 3-hour one.
Yeah.
We're gonna just let you go.
We got to. There's so many questions that I want to ask you because I like when you're in it and you're so passionate about it and you just go and because
I love y'all. I love y'all guys, but I love, like I said, I love just if anything I say could help anybody. That's my main thing.
Yeah.
If anything I say could help one person say, oh, I want to be better. And I don't realize that until people come up to me and say, man, you know something you told me 8 years ago, Veronica? And I was like, for real? Because I don't realize sometimes y'all may not realize the influence y'all have on people. And you don't until someone tells you or people walk up, how can I be part of your circle? My best friends be looking at people like, girl, they be walking up, how can I be part of your circle? In my mind, I'm just doing what naturally has always been me. And y'all don't even realize, people don't realize the influence they have on people.
Yeah. That's true.
We got to make sure we own it with pride and, respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our godly right to step on your neck.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll definitely have you on again. We've already done 4, right?
Yeah, this is round 4.
I can't wait for
Finish
round 5,
and we definitely make sure we put her link up too.
Yeah. All that's
So
gonna
they
be
can go
below.
to your link. Plug your
Yeah.
link.
Oh yeah, we're gonna read some excerpts. We come back and read some.
Oh, yeah,
excerpts.
we should.
Yeah. Let's
real.
do that. Let's do
Like
that.
this is why you ain't shit.
Oh, it gets like that, huh?
No.
No, I'm just
It's
kidding.
from chapter why you ain't shit.
Like, right, exactly.
This, chapter 14. Kiss my ass.
The black one.
Yeah.
I was like, but no, I'm sweet.
All right, we gotta go. But
right.
thanks again for coming on. Once again, I'm Brooks.
I'm Hendrix.
And I'm Dr. Veronica Pearson.
I heard that.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.
I gotta do my intro thing while I walk up to